Oh, all right, welcome back. We're gonna do some unboxing today. This is Jenna Flo from TCG Mama. I got my new TCG Mama mat. Super pumped about that. So you guys know what channel you're stopping by when you come to see these unboxing videos. So One Piece is huge. We just had season 2 come out on Netflix of the live action, and everyone's super pumped about it. Have my son here in town right now. He's out on leave, and we were able to catch up on some of the new episodes and also pick up some starter decks for One Piece. We have not played One Piece here at this particular location. We have friends who are One Piece players. I'm a collector. I have my Charlotte Pudding card off to show in another one of the shorts, but I love the quality of these cards. They have a very sturdy, rigid, almost cardboard coaster-like feel to them, and I think that that's awesome. It makes it really enjoyable to play with the more sturdy cards. So I know the people who are One Piece fans love that about the game. And I love that as a collector, because that means that they're gonna, not Pringle. We're not going to have issues long-term with the card quality. So today I just have a starter deck, Yamato, and we're going to open this. I know these starter decks are super together. Let me get the scissors out so we can cut some of these without destroying the whole box. So in the comments, if you want to share your favorite One Piece character, we would love to hear about that. We love Tony Chopper. My daughter is 2, and she has a huge one that we got for her from Impact Gaming Center, which is where we mainly play. And they have a whole wall of stuffies, and I'll have to get a little picture of that in the video for you all. So the starter decks are all going to have this individual number here at the bottom. They're not exactly coordinating with the numbering of the sets, so you know that you've got a starter ST at the beginning on the card numbers, and all of these are standard when you get them. So you're going to have the starter deck is completely sealed. And then we have this very important mat that you are going to use when you're setting up your area. So the back side of the mat itself is going to be what you play right on. So it comes with this really cool and very informative playmat that's going to tell you essentially where everything goes and give you the reminder of the phases for your turn, and then as well as some details on your character area about max characters, and yeah, about the fact that they don't all have rush. There's a couple cards that come with that, but essentially meaning that you can play them as soon as they come in. Like our Lorcana fans know, you got to let that ink dry. So here we go. This is the money. So I love how One Piece does this. I think there are other games that do it well, but this to me visually, it really encapsulates all the questions that you possibly could have when you're starting out to play One Piece. There's also a QR code that you can use to follow to the game's main rules area, as well as utilizing some of their resources online if you've got individual questions about turns, as well as when they're battling. But this has been super cool for myself. I have been able to just gaze over this without having actually played the game too much myself to really just get the gist of what's going on, how the characters work, what the cost is required, the Don cards and things along those lines. So this again is going to walk you through everything. And yeah, again, there's very few games I think that visually represent on just one sheet how to play the game in its entirety. I will also say that in my opinion, One Piece is a very complex and it's a deep game. There are a lot of the functions on the cards that remind me a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, a little bit of some of the higher level gameplay when it comes to strategy. So it super helps to have something that you can reference like this instructional guide especially if you're playing with two people who've never played before. So very awesome. Okay, so here we go. We've got the Yamato. This is going to be our leader card. And we also have a pack, okay? So some of the starter decks will come, you know, just with a regular 12-card booster pack. Other ones will come with a very special edition package. It'll be in a silverish container, and you'll know that it only is one that comes with a few cards. So normally I think it's 3 cards, and they're special print just to go with a starter deck. You'll probably notice that those starter decks that come that way have a bit of a higher price point, and it's because the cards that are in that alternate packaging tend to have a higher value to them. It's not just grabbing one of the booster packs. It's specific to that package you got. So let's go ahead. I've had great luck with pulling from One Piece starter decks, and I like to collect, so the starter decks are definitely the place for me to start. And let's see what we get in here. So as I mentioned with One Piece, this is got a high level of complexity when it comes to, you can see the actions on the cards. We got several options on these. We've got several steps that you can take. There's Dawn modifications, active during main once per turn. So I would say that this is definitely a game that if you've never played a TCG before, you might want to try something out a little bit more friendly, especially with the kids, because the complexity of what is on these cards are referring to certain elements to the card that you all may or may not be familiar with. And we've got the traditional cost and then the power, but there's also this ability for you when you're in a battle to counter, to add strength to your leader. And again, as I mentioned, there's some pretty complex steps in some of these cards' actions. So awesome game, but definitely work your way into it by playing and starting with a couple more basic games. This card, you know, it's just a straight up character. We've got the 7,000, and then it does double as a counter. And then here we go, get to the meat of stuff. Straw Hat Crew. This is an event card, so you can play these as well. They're indicated by the gold border. Ooh, man, this is gorgeous. Yet again, love these cards. Love how they look. Completely a huge collector on these. Bambushi. All right, here's another event card. Ancient Whip Poseidon. Ooh, we've got a monkey. So if you activate it at the start of your turn, you more dawns in your field. Look at 5. Very cool. All right. Got a Charlotte Linlin, and that's gonna be our exciting foil card. And look at this, Shirahune. That's a pretty awesome card as well too. Merfolk, love that. Merfolk, the whole genre of that and how they decorate those cards, just, you know, really has that feeling. This is a foil as well, so we'll have to check and see if there's any value on this lady, but here's our 2 foils. No Dawn cards in this pack, which is okay. Collect those as we go. But yeah, I think that this is great. I'm gonna go ahead and open the actual starter deck for you. We could talk a little bit about that. Oh, it's got a pull tab too, of course. I'm sitting here cutting the top in. This is one of the nice ones that actually opens easily. So as I mentioned, we've got your leader card is going to be that person here, your main person on the box. So we have Yamato, and then ooh, here's some really cool. This is going to be her most supportive characters, and we've got those in a foil treatment, which is super nice. I mean, even the leader's cards and the foil treatment cards, they tend to have some value to them as well too, that covers the cost of the deck, so that's nice. We're gonna have a whole stack and everything. It looks like it's gonna be 4 copies of each, and these are gonna be the player support that is gonna go in your main deck, and then of course in your 5 life slots on your board when you're playing. Here we have the event cards we mentioned. They've got this golden colored border, and then these are your Don cards. So this is your mana, this is your ink, this is your runes, this is the thing that's gonna be your power that you play. So sometimes you will find these in the individual packages for the booster packs, but most of the time they're regular. I am probably going to do a video on doing some alters on these. Again, I don't know if alters for Riftbound, or sorry, for One Piece are the same as Riftbound. You normally can, with the permission of a judge, use alters when it comes to some static cards like this, which would be Dons, or again, runes, mana, things like that. Tokens tend to be things that are utilized. There aren't, that I know of, tokens in this game, but again, I'm all about the alter cards, so probably do some of these, maybe reflect the Yamato style, maybe do some more folky things on this too. Find out if we can make a little more folk deck. That would be great. But the professor would like that. All right, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and going through this basic unboxing, and we'll see you next time.